is your school mascot and school colors?
What is your school mascot and school colors?
Sure. Our school mascot is Rocky the Red Hawk. You can actually see him right up here behind me attending a graduation ceremony. And our school colors are primarily red and white and black as well, as you can see represented here between the two of us.
How did become your mascot?
How did Rocky become your mascot?
May?
Well, in 1989, we decided to change our mascot, and we're in the North Jersey area, and there's a lot of red-tailed hawks that live in the area, so we decided to make ourselves the red-tailed hawks, or just the Red Hawks, to commemorate that.
How many students attend your school?
So how many students attend Montclair State?
We have just about 18,000 students total, and that is including just around 4,000 graduate students. So when you come here after high school, you're going to be with about 13,000 other college students.
That's a lot bigger than I even realized. I went to a New Jersey State school as well, and mine was a much smaller, about 7,000. I didn't realize you guys were that much larger of a school.
Yeah, we've been growing very consistently over the past 10 years.
Excellent. Go ahead, Heather.
How big are your classroom sizes?
So with that many students, how big are your class sizes?
Well, one thing that we're very proud of is the more students we have, the more teachers we hire. So we like to make sure that our classes stay as small and comfortable as possible. So even though we have about 14,000 undergrads, our total average class size is just about 35.
How far is your school from Kingston, New Jersey?
So how far are you guys from us here in Keansburg, New Jersey?
It's really not a bad drive. We're just about an hour north, and I actually make the drive down to Keansburg myself every once in a while to visit the high schools in the area, so I know for a fact it's a very easy drive.
So all you guys would have to do is get right on the parkway, go right up, about 45 minutes on the parkway, a little bit with traffic lights and things like that, and you're there. So it's a good distance where you're kind of far enough away from home, but if you wanted to come home, you can. Okay.
What types of things are to do on your school?
What types of things are there to do on the Montclair State campus and then in the surrounding areas?
One of my favorite things is our ice skating rink. We actually have an ice skating rink right on campus, so if you guys like ice skating, that's something you can do right here on campus. And we also have a lot of sports fields, so if you like to play any kind of sport, you can play that on our campus as well.
Cool.
I personally like to enjoy all of the restaurants in the area. Whether you like Japanese food, Italian food, or even Cuban food, there are a ton of different places where you can go right nearby, plus a movie theater and a whole bunch of really cool little shops and stores to go to. I'm a big reader, and the bookstore in town is one of my favorites.
Now, is it kind of a small town that surrounds Montclair State?
The campus itself is very self-contained. We're about a 5-minute drive from the town of Montclair. Montclair itself is, I would say, a fairly typical suburban town with a very active town center, so a lot of shops and restaurants on the main street, but it's a very suburban area.
Now, is there transportation from the school to the town center?
Yeah, there's a lot of NJ Transit public buses, but we actually also have a shuttle that the school sponsors that goes right from our campus into the main shopping areas in the area. So even if you don't have a car and you live on campus, you can get to those places.
So if they were at the dorms one day and decided, oh, let's take a trip downtown to go grab, some Japanese food, they could jump on the shuttle and take the shuttle right down to town?
Absolutely. And it also goes to the movie theater as well. So if you want to go see a movie, you can take the shuttle in there.
Excellent.
What do most students do on the weekends?
So being that you guys are relatively close to us, chances are, we could either stay on the weekends or go home. So what do most students tend to do on the weekends?
Well, we have about 5,000 students that live on campus. The rest of them commute, which means that they drive to school every single day. So on the weekends, there are only about 5,000, so it's a lot smaller than during the week when classes are going on. But there's a ton of people that like to stay on campus. There's always something going on. There's different shows on campus. We have 3 theaters on campus, so there's lots of shows you can go to. And we're also really close to New York City, so if you guys like New York City, that's where a lot of our students like to hang out as well.
Cool. So then,
What types of sports are offered at your school?
what types of sports are offered at Montclair State?
Well, we have 17 different Division III programs, and those are all of our varsity sports. So if you're interested in football, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, we have those programs here. And that's if you really, really are interested in playing sports and really like competing. Even if you don't want something that serious, though, we have a ton of club sports, which are sports programs that you'll play against other schools, but a slightly less competitive. And then there's intramural sports where you'll play against other students on campus, and intramural sports are just for fun to stay active and healthy. And the rec center sponsors all of those right here on campus. It's a brand new rec center with a pool inside and a track. So if you like swimming or running or even just going to the gym, there's a bunch of different ways to stay active.
I found too that when I was in school, intramurals is a great way to meet people on your campus, as well as it's kind of a fun way to try something you may never have tried before, whether it's rugby or street hockey or something that's a little bit different than the sports you've normally played. Intramurals kind of gives you that option to try something, and not as a competitive setting.
Absolutely, yeah. Our ambassador group actually has a volleyball team that we do every year for intramurals, and I'm not a very good athlete, so if I had to try to get into a team on my own, I wouldn't be able to do it, but because this is just kind of for fun, it's a good way for me to play a sport that I'd like to be better at, but I'm not that good at to begin with.
Excellent.
Do you have any rivals?
Do you guys have any rivals?
Well, our matches against William Patterson University, another college in New Jersey, are always very, very popular. So I would have to say that they are our biggest rival. Everyone always gets very excited for those games. They're based relatively close by, so we do play against each other in a lot of different sports. And anything that we play against the Rutgers campus as well, those are always very popular. So we have a very good relationship with the other New Jersey colleges, but it's definitely friendly competition.
I know as an alumni of the College of New Jersey, we would always get very pumped up to play you guys.
Yeah.
You were always it was either you or Rowan who would be matched up in our homecoming games. So there was always a little bit of rivalry between us as well.
Does your school have any traditions?
Does your school have any traditions?
One of my favorite traditions is something we do at the beginning of every school year in the fall. We begin in September, and for every single year, there's the new group of freshman students who have just gone to college, and this is their first time ever being at a big school. So we do something called Red Hawk Days, which is a day or two where there's all these fun activities. We usually have some kind of a carnival theme. There's lots of prizes and games, and there's always food. And it's just a really good way where you can get to know the campus before you have to start going to classes. So you get to learn what kind of community it is that you're living in.
Cool. It's a great way to kind of meet people, because chances are you may be coming to school with 1 or 2 friends that you might know. But, something like that as a welcome carnival is a way for you to kind of meet a large group of people who all may be kind of experiencing the same feelings that you are when you go away to school for the first time.
Exactly. It's a good way to really introduce yourself to new people without having the pressure of also being in a classroom. It's just a way to have fun and to see what other students you're going to be spending the next 4 years with.
Great.
They actually do something similar for employees as well. I started with Montclair just this past August, and in September they had a welcome dinner or breakfast rather for all of the new employees because starting as a student is one thing, and starting as an employee is very, very similar. So they made it very easy for me to transition. Plus, everyone likes the food here.
Excellent.
What is your school best known for?
What is Montclair State best known for?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, we originally were founded as a teaching college almost or over 100 years ago in 1908. And ever since then, our teaching program has been incredibly popular. As you mentioned earlier, some of you have teachers who graduated from us, and we really try to keep up that tradition. So our teaching program is one of the things that students will come from all over the country for. That and our art program. So if you like art, painting, dancing, singing, or acting, a lot of people like to come to us so that way they can learn more about what they like to do, as well as get some experience so that way they can one day be on TV or dance on Broadway.
Cool.
And one of the things I really love about our school is we actually have a diner right on our campus. So that's where I love to go to get a milkshake every time I'm having a good day or a bad day. I'll go get a milkshake right on campus.
That could be a good thing or a bad thing, having a diner. Go ahead, Shania.
Why do people choose to attend your school?
So when people come to visit Montclair State, what is it about the campus that people choose and say, you know what, State is the place for me to attend?
Well, one of the things that I love the most about the school when I first came is how it just feels really homey. It's an absolutely beautiful campus. There's trees everywhere, and the buildings are all really, really pretty. So when I came here, it just felt like a place that really, it feels kind of like a home away from home. So that's what I really love about it. And it's also very close to New York City, so if I wanted to get a job or an internship, you can do that as well.
And overall, a lot of students enjoy the options and the support that they'll get here. We have almost 300 different majors, minors, and different programs to study, so pretty much whatever you're interested in, we have a program for on campus, and a lot of people don't know yet. So they'll come to us not really sure, and once they get here, we'll help them figure out what it is that they want to do once they graduate, and a lot of people like that.
So how big is the Montclair State campus?
The campus is a total of 500 acres, which seems like a lot, but it's really, it's very walkable. Most people will walk around campus, and there are shuttles around to take you all over. If you think about it, our campus is sort of shaped like a football, and if you were to walk from pointy end to pointy end, it would take you about 25 to 30 minutes if you're taking your time and enjoying the scenery.
So being that it could take you quite a bit of time to walk around, how do most people get around?
A lot of students will walk, but again, there are the shuttle buses, which are very popular, and they run all over campus. You can see what their schedule is online, so you can plan your route. People will do that, and they'll take it from from where they're staying on campus, and they'll take it to their class, and then they'll walk from that class to the next class. I've seen students skateboard, I've seen students rollerblade, I've even seen a few people on scooters here and there. So if it's something that you own and it has wheels, you're welcome to use it around campus.
Now I know you said education would be one, but what are some of your other most popular majors?
Besides education, English and biology always have a lot of students enrolling every year. They're very popular programs. The English department is one of our largest. It's part of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, which has a lot of interest, like with history and anthropology as well. And biology has all of our pre-med programs, so people who want to become doctors and nurses will often study biology. And besides that, our arts programs are also very popular, so students who want to dance or do music or art will often come to us as well.
What is the cost of your school?
So what is the cost of Montclair State?
Well, it is just a little over $24,000 per year for an in-state student who lives on campus. So if you live in New Jersey and you stay on our campus, that cost includes your room and your tuition, so all of your classes, as well as access to the rec center and everything else that we have on campus. So that is your final bill per year.
Do you offer scholarships?
Yes, we do offer scholarships. We have two different types. Well, there are two different types of scholarships. You can get a merit scholarship, which you're awarded just for doing very well in school. So once you get to high school, make sure that you try very hard because colleges love to give you money just for good grades. And the other is financial aid, which is something that the government will help you with. Once you start applying to schools, you'll be able to figure all of that out, but it's another way to get some money so that way you can pay for your education.
Do you have any
Do you have any famous alumni?
Famous alumni? As a matter of fact, I brought a picture of two of our most famous alumni. Now, this is usually hanging in my office, but I wanted to show you. This is Bruce Willis and Yogi Berra, who are both received honorary degrees from Montclair. Bruce Willis is an actor. He's been in dozens of movies, and Yogi Berra is a Hall of Fame baseball player who used to play for the Yankees. And the two of them, they received honorary degrees from Montclair, as well as my favorite poet, Allen Ginsberg.
Excellent.
What do you like most about your school?
Now, what do both of you like most? One about attending and one about working now for Montclair. What is it that you guys like most about this school?
What I really like is, like Tony mentioned, that there's a lot of different programs that you can do. I came into the school knowing that I wanted to be a business student, so that's my major, but I have a lot of other interests that I can also do on campus. So I really love math, so I'm a math minor, and I also really like psychology, so I can minor in those two things as well as have my major in business. So I can pursue a lot of different interests. And another thing I really love about the school is all the different food. I've lived here on campus for 4 years, and there's never been a time where I was hungry because there's always something delicious to eat on campus.
Excellent.
Now, I grew up not far from Montclair University, and when I heard that they had an opening in the admissions office, it was a very obvious choice for me to apply, and I was really hoping that I would get the job. It has an excellent reputation in New Jersey and throughout the country, so my favorite part about working here is probably all of the people who I've met. Everyone in the admissions office, all the way up to the president of the university, is very welcoming, and they're all very nice people. They're very pleasant to interact with, and they make this a really great place to work. So I'm very happy that I'm here, and I'm very fortunate to be here.
Excellent. Now, anybody have any questions other than the ones that are on the list? Maybe something about where you would live or the food that they've talked about a couple times. What would you like to know about? Go ahead, Jersa.
Are there any Chinese restaurants here?
Are there any Chinese restaurants on campus?
We do have, in the student center, we have a big cafeteria where you can choose all different kinds of food, and we have a Chinese wok. So if you like fried rice or you like lo mein, they'll make it all fresh as you order it.
Excellent. I have a question. Are you required to live on campus if you attend Montclair State?
Absolutely not. You don't have to live on campus, but we do encourage it. I've never not lived on campus, so I only know from my own experience, but living on campus really helped me to become a part of the community because you're always there. So if your friends ever want to go to a show or want to go to some kind of an event on campus, you're right there. You don't have to go and get in your car and drive all the way to school. You're always there. So if anything fun is happening, you're right there to be a part of the experience.
Go ahead, Shania.
Is there any stores around your school?
Do you have any stores on campus?
Well, there is, in the student center, we have something called the C Store, which is a nice place where you can grab a snack or something in between classes or little things for you to bring back to your room. There is also the Montclair Bookstore, which is where most students will get their textbooks, and also that's right in the student center. That is where you can get all of these great Montclair sweatshirts that you'll see people wear, as well as t-shirts, sweatpants, I have a Montclair tie. They have Montclair scarves, and pretty much anything you would want, you can get something from Montclair right there in the bookstore.
Excellent. Go ahead, Doc.
Is there hockey games?
Do you guys have a hockey team?
We do actually have a hockey team. It's a club sport, but it's a really, really good team. They play against a lot of schools. We've even played someone from New Hampshire, which is fairly far away. But they practice all down at the ice skating rink, like I said, and they're a pretty good team.
Excellent. Okay, Bailey.
A volleyball team?
A volleyball team?
We sure do. We have a couple different volleyball teams, so whether you want to play very competitively or if you just want to play for fun, there's a dozen ways that you can play volleyball on campus.
Go ahead.
Do you have gymnastics at school?
Gymnastics.
And there are a couple of clubs related to gymnastics, and there are dance teams, but gymnastics isn't one of the varsity sports. But there are definitely still ways to stay involved if that's something that you're interested in when you get to campus.
Now I have a question. If they did decide to live on campus, would they be able to select their roommates prior to attending Montclair State?
Yes, if you are going to Montclair and you know someone else who's going that you'd like to live with, when you do the housing form, you actually do have the place where you can both request each other. So if you request to live with your friend and your friend requests to live with you, then they'll place you together as roommates. If you don't know anyone that's going to Montclair, then and if you don't have anyone you want to request to live with, they have a questionnaire where they ask you all different kinds of questions about how you'd like to live, so whether you listen to music or whether you want to have friends over, and then they try to match you up as best as they can with someone who's going to be similar to you so that you'll be friendly throughout the year.
Good. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Do you have a softball team?
Softball team.
We do have a softball team, and our softball team actually this year went undefeated, and they went all the way to the state championship, so they did incredibly well. Our softball team and our women's basketball team actually had their best seasons in our school's history this past fall, so we're very, very proud of them.
Excellent. Good, Shanae. Now, it's a little different. You guys don't have a principal, correct? You would have a president.
Yes.
And who is the president of your school?
I'm sorry?
Who is the president of your school?
The president is Dr. Susan Cole. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting her on a few occasions. She's very, very nice and very approachable. It's her job to make sure that the university as a whole is constantly getting better every year. And she has not only all of the students to look after, but all of the staff members as well, and the board of trustees, which is a group of people who oversee what the president does to make sure that the university is always getting better. It's a very, very difficult job, and I imagine very stressful, but she's been doing a great job, and Montclair has become better and better every year for the past several years.
Excellent. Go ahead, Haley.
How big is your campus? How large
Yeah, he said it was about 500 acres, you said?
Yes.
Yep. So it would take about probably 20 minutes or so to walk across. Go ahead.
Do you celebrate any birthdays?
Oh, great question. Do you celebrate people's birthdays at Montclair State? Kind of how we would have a big birthday party here if someone had a birthday in the classroom.
Well, actually, the first time I ever came to Montclair was celebrating its 100-year anniversary. So there was this big, huge party that everyone on campus was involved in, and that was my very first impression of the school. So I thought that was really, really cool. And one thing that we do here in the office, if anyone who works in the admissions office has a birthday, we'll come in the night before and decorate their office with balloons and streamers and everything like that, just to wish them a happy birthday.
It's true. It happened to me. It was very nice, and it was a nice surprise.
I think, too, chances are, if you're having a birthday and you're in the dorms, for example, people on the floor where you live would know when it was your birthday, and they might decorate something or throw you a little party more than that you would in your actual classroom yourself.
Mm.
Shana. Any what? Oh, do you guys do talent shows?
We actually do. I just went to a talent show 2 weeks ago. We have a club. It's called the Players Club, and they put on a talent show every single semester where anyone is allowed to join, and you can have any kind of talent. My roommate and one of my best friends actually went, and she sang a song, and everyone was clapping along and snapping. So it's a really, really great place if you have any kind of talent that you can show off. Everyone's really into seeing what you can do.
Yeah.
Do you have field
Do you have field hockey?
We do have field hockey. One of the coaches actually works here in the admissions office, so she keeps us up to date on everything that's going on in the world of field hockey. They've been doing very well this season. We've actually got a great team this year.
Good. Anybody else? Go ahead, Dom.
do you have a tennis team?
Ooh, I'm telling you what, you got some future sports players here. Tennis?
We do have tennis. It is not one of the varsity sports, but there is a club tennis team, and there are tennis courts on campus, so people will come out and play and practice all the time, especially now that the weather is nice.
Okay. Any questions about other than sports?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Suman.
Um,
Maybe about a major that you're interested in going into when you get older.
do you have a soccer team? That's a sport. That's a sport.
A soccer team.
Yes, we do have soccer as well. Soccer is one of the most popular sports. I see them practicing all the time. And the New York State Red Bulls, they are the professional United States soccer team for New York. They practice on our field as well, so they practice on Saturday mornings.
Good. Anybody about a question about maybe the major or an area of study that you guys want to go into when you get older? Okay.
I always wanted to try science.
Science, and you guys said the sciences are popular majors there, right?
Yes, science is very popular. We have brand new science buildings with all sorts of new lab rooms in them. So you'll get to experience this a little bit in high school, but science, you do a lot of work in labs with all sorts of different chemicals and all sorts of different equipment. So we have brand new buildings, and we actually have some programs where you can go through straight to a PhD, which is a lot of schooling, and it is if you're interested in science, it's a very interesting path for you to take.
Do it while you're young. That's my advice.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to another question, I have a question for you. Do you guys have a Montclair chant or cheer that we could learn quickly to kind of practice here at our school that these guys could take back to their classroom and to maybe teach some of their friends how to do?
I don't know if we really have a chant, but my dad and I actually came up with a move that we used to do back when I was applying to Montclair, and we did it the day that I found out I was accepted, and it's called the Red Hawk. You lift your arms like this, you make your wings, and then you go, "Rawr!"
All right, you guys
that's the
ready?
sound that-
Go ahead. Let me hear it. Get the Red Hawk going. Come on, Haley Chow. Get those hands up. Go ahead.
Very good. That's what my dad and I called hawking.
There you go. You guys can hawk now, but not in the hallways. All right. Guys, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to talk to us.
Oh, absolutely. It was my pleasure.
I think, it's kind of given them an opportunity to at least lay the foundation for understanding what's ahead of them and getting a better understanding that there are options out there for them to consider now and to think of to help plan for their future and to understand that not only are there schools in New Jersey but across the entire country, and it's going to be a long process for them to select a school, but I think that having an interest in you guys early is something that's very beneficial for them.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So what do you guys say?
Thank you.
Give them
Thank
a
you,
wave.
guys.
Have a great week, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Herbert.
Have a great week.